Evening, everybody. It is Friday. Trading week is over. Got some real talk for everybody today. Um, Especially for the new people who are pretty new in their journey. Maybe you've been trading for a while, just haven't found success. Uh, we've got some that are brand new on their journey. Everybody seems to think, there's a few in here that don't think it because they've been through it. But there's people in general, when they get into trading and prop firm trading, think that, once I pass my evaluation, I got it made. Because at that point, I should be good enough to make money. I'm going to situate myself here a minute. That's just not the truth. You know, it's one step in the journey of becoming a successful trader, because a funded account is a whole different animal. It's a whole new set of subconscious thoughts that come into play. And yes, I'm saying this because I blew my $250,000 account. It had almost $11,000 profit in it. Now, a lot of people would be extremely upset, maybe throw in the towel, really pissed off, whatever the emotions may be. And I never felt angry or mad or whatever. Disappointed, sure. Um, did it suck at the time that it happened? Absolutely. Um, you just kind of put your head in your hands for a few minutes, and then you lift your head, you take a deep breath, and honestly, my very first thought after that deep breath was, okay, I need to look back and see what happened. Why did this happen to me again? First off, the first couple of points I looked at was, number one, I did better than I did last time in my funded accounts. I mean, my last funded accounts, I literally just blew them immediately, um, which just totally blew me away. Um, I was in this funded account for about 3 weeks, made really good profits. So, my first thought, of course, was, okay, I've got to go back and look and see what I can find. The first time I blew my funded accounts, it was strictly just overconfidence. Um, I went into those accounts the very first day. I had never worked on my psychology. I thought I was the shit. I had $500,000 in funding. I was going to make all this money, and the market just kept going against me, and I kept fighting a trending market, and I got frustrated, and I revenge traded, and I upped my size, and I did everything wrong, and I just blew the accounts in one day. Um, so this time through, obviously, once I got funded, you know, I've done all this work on the psychological part of trading now. I'm gonna, this time it should work. And it was working great. Um, I had a bad Thursday. Um, I did say I was going to take a couple days off from the account. Um, I did. I went back in. Well, I had a bad Wednesday. I was going to take a couple days off from the account, and I didn't. I went back in on Thursday. and I traded. You know, with a good mindset, trade your trade your setups, and nothing worked. Um, and it ended up blowing the accounts. Now, like I said, a lot of people would be pissed off because that's $11,000 actual profits. I mean, if I had made it to qualifying for a payout, I could have had a nice little payout there, and still had a healthy account balance to keep trading. But in my mind, honestly, I didn't lose $11,000. I lost $100 because that's what it cost me to pay for the valuation and to set up the funded account. Um, until the money gets in my pocket, it's not my money. It's money in an account, but it's not mine until I withdraw it and put it in my pocket. So, the P&L balance that I lost was almost 11,000. But honestly, all I lost was $100. What I gained was a huge learning experience because the last time I blew my accounts, I didn't know anything about the psychology of trading. This time when it got blown, my very first thought was, okay, let's go back and take a look. How did this happen this time? Um, and a little of it was still overconfidence, no doubt about it. If I wasn't overconfident and still a little bit bullheaded, I wouldn't have gone back in on Thursday to trade. I would have taken a couple of days off that I know I probably should have taken. If I had, I would have seen what I see now. Um, NQ is my favorite product to trade. Um, and but there are other products out there to trade. And over the last few days, none of my setups, I mean, the setups were happening, but the trades weren't working. Nothing was going to full profit at the 0.27 on the fifth. And so I was holding the trades too long, not taking profit, not taking some profit when I could, and moving to break even, and everything was just coming back and stopping me out. Now, my risk settings is about $1,000 per trade. And you lose your first couple of trades, and you know, you think, well, okay, the outcome of each individual trade is completely random. It's the long run that matters. Um, so you have your first losing day after 3 weeks. No big deal. It's gonna happen. You still got an account to trade. Now, number one, I should have taken a couple of days off from at least from that account. Um, Number two, uh, I did the right thing when I went back in. I reduced my risk the first part of Thursday, and still nothing was working. I was still losing money, still bleeding out money. And when a almost $11,000 account gets down to where there's only like $2,000 left in it, desperation kicks in. Um, so that was a miss, Bubble. Oh, give me just a minute. Let me put him up. This is going to be a little bit long of a video, but everybody needs to watch it. Hey, come on, Dad, let's go. So desperation kicks in, and at that point, it's like, you know, I got to set up. I got to trade it. Well, you don't have to, but that's what's in your brain. And I took the last setup and I watched it fail. And again, I mean, you put your head in your hands and you're like, fuck, how did this happen again? Um, so going back through, looking at it, NQ market state had changed. Um, it was back at all-time highs again, and it just wasn't having any follow-through on the setups like it should. And I didn't see it. I just kept thinking that I'm just on a losing streak. If I can just get through the losing streak, we'll be all right, because this setup has a really good win rate. Um, and I kind of lost my focus a little, on how I should be thinking through the markets when I'm trading. It was that desperation of, I need to get a win here. I'm getting closer and closer to blowing this account. Um, so yeah, I mean, it happens, and I say all that to let everyone know that, you know if you blow a funded account, don't be too hard on yourself. This is not, you know, just because you're good enough to pass the eval doesn't mean you're gonna make it to payout. Um, there's still a lot of demons that have to be fought, uh, to get to that payout level. And this was, honestly, now that I'm working on the psychology part of the trading, this was a really big eye opener for me. And you can ask pretty much every professional trader that does this for a living, day in, day out, how long would, would you expect before a trader becomes consistently profitable and starts making money? And most of them will tell you 3 to 5 years. And I'm at the 3 year mark. Um, and I mean, I know I can see it. I mean, literally, when I stop and look at where I'm going to be in the very near future, I can see the success. And it's not just a vision or a dream, it's based on past performance. I know I can do this. But there's those last little pieces of the puzzle that have to come together. And I think I caught it. I think I found it. That's like, you got one little last piece of the puzzle, but it's not on the table. I had all the puzzle pieces here. What happened? Where did that last piece go? Shit, it fell under the table and got, wedged under the rug. Fuck, there it is. Boom. And I really do feel like that's what just happened, losing this account this time. It wasn't disbelief. It wasn't a huge ego hit. It wasn't, it wasn't the just absolute gut punch that I got the first time. Um, One, because psychologically I'm more prepared for it. I don't go into the markets expecting to win every day now. When it happens, it's great. But I did, when I went back and I looked at it, it was that one last little piece of the puzzle. There were two things really, other than a little bit of overconfidence and letting the desperation take control at the end. Um, those two psychological parts I now have written down to keep in front of me at all times. To watch for those. Don't let those take control again. Um, but one is you have to keep track of the market you're trading, and I can say that not just those 2 days, but the days before that, I was trading, and the reason I was doing so well is because I was locking in profits and moving my stops. I got to a point where I had a good buffer in the account, so I stopped doing that, thinking that now I can start taking these trade setups all the way to target profit. And even before Wednesday and Thursday, NQ's market state had changed. There wasn't the same follow through with price action that my trade plan requires to go to full target profit. So I didn't pay attention to the market I was trading. Big key number one. Um, and number two, I lost focus on the process of price action. And what I mean by that is when the desperation starts kicking in, you just start trading every fib retracement you see. You get a decent move in the market that shows displacement, and as soon as that comes back to a retrace, you take the trade. I mean, I'm trading every fib retracement I see. That's not the way this works. You know, I should be lucky if I get one good move a day out of the assets that I'm looking at. One good trade a day. And there's going to be days where you just don't trade. And I lost sight of that. So, huge, huge turning point for me. And I still have my top step 50K. I went max daily loss on that on Thursday. So that was half my account balance gone. But Thursday night, last night, I went through, and this is when I realized all this. And it didn't take me very long to figure out what went wrong. And I don't blame the markets. I don't blame anybody but myself. All of it. The overconfidence, the desperation, the not paying attention to the market I'm trading, and not thinking through the process while I'm in the charts and just trading whatever fib retracement I can find. All of that's on me, no doubt about it. But now I have the clues to see that happening. And what I didn't do before is I have a trade plan. I have set up, I have a plan, I have risk management, I have all of that. I know it. It's right up here. But I went and wrote it down. And now I keep it. It's in my trade journal, and I keep it by my computer. And I look at it while I'm in the charts. That's what I gotta do. That I cannot deviate from that right there. And for a while, until I build that discipline again, that's what I got to do. I got to keep my trade plan, my risk management, all of it right there in front of me when I'm in the charts. So I can look at that piece of paper and say, is this doing that? And if it is, then I have to do this, this, and this. And if it fails, stop trading. You know, now if I have one trade that doesn't work, no problem. Two in a row, the win rate on this trade setup shouldn't have that. So if I have two in a row, I need to step back and say, okay, is it the markets that aren't moving the way I need them to for my trade plan? Or is it me? Which one is the problem? If it's me, walk away. If it's the market, go look at other markets. See if there's something there. You know, keep like NASDAQ. I'm going to keep watching NASDAQ. We'll keep looking for the setups. But until I see setups actually start working again to trade plan, I'm not putting any contracts on. Still going to watch the chart. Still going to put my fibs on. Still going to, catch my setups. But until I'm not gonna click the buy or sell button. I'm just gonna watch it. And until I start seeing trades start working with the consistency that they should be for my win rate, then I'm not putting any more contracts in the NQ. So this morning, I went into crude oil. I didn't even open NASDAQ. I haven't looked at it. I'm going to keep watching it, but today I didn't even look at it. So when I opened up my crude oil, we were right down here. Okay, so I'm going to take these off and give you my thought process here. All right, so I go to my 15-minute charts and I draw out my fair value gaps. Okay, big one right here. We created one today and then inverted it. Looks like we did a couple. Um, I got one up here that I need to put in. I didn't put in. But we have this one. We have this one right here. Alright. And we'll just leave that like that. Okay. We got another one down here and such. So, but we're not there yet. I'll probably be putting those on Monday, drawing them in inversions. I'll draw in on this weekend. Looks like we got two inverted here that haven't been broke through and stacked on top of each other. So I'm going to be looking to go long on Monday. But then I go to my 5-minute chart to trade. Okay. Now my drawings that I drew on the 15 minutes stay on the chart. So these boxes that I draw, not these fair value gaps, but these that I draw, these are um, on the 15-minute chart. Okay. And I know they're there. Okay. And actually, I don't know why, but that is fair. It's a bull. Okay. So, and I know they're the 15 minutes because they have a yellow dotted midline line. Okay. So I know those are 15-minute fair value gaps. So when I got on the chart this morning, I saw this. We just had this huge dump from the top of London, which, by the way, just took liquidity from the previous day's high. Okay, shot up, down, retrace, and fall. Okay, liquidity move. And we just kept coming down. We broke through VWAP, we broke through the 5-day SMA, we're breaking through fair value gaps, we're breaking through sell side liquidity. I mean, we're just falling. Okay? And we're falling right into this double bottom, into a big bullish fair value gap from this strong push up. Okay? So that's what I see. Now I have to decide, how am I going to trade this? Well, the very first trade I took was when this candle came all the way down past the 50% mark and then pulled back and closed up here. I entered one contract. Okay. Um, this one is not located correctly. Okay, so I entered one contract there. Right here. Risking the bottom of the fair value gap, which is also an inverted order block right below it, or right at the bottom of it. So I entered one contract there. Okay. And I'm holding it. Because what I want to do is play the balance. I know we're taking liquidity because we have this double bottom over here. We push through it into the fair value gap that caused the double bottom. So we might just blow through it since it's been hit a couple times. But I'm counting on the fact that it's going to hold. So as soon as I see the pullback on this 5-minute candle, I enter one contract. And I'm sitting and waiting. Now, if this is going to be an up market, and this is the internal liquidity that price is searching for before going back to external liquidity, then prices should move up from here. Okay? We're in a downtrend, but I'm looking for the bounce. But if it's going to become an uptrend, we should sweep a pullback to go higher. And the thought process is, if you're going long, if you're bullish, buy below the lows. Okay. Now, I didn't quite do that, but that's what I was looking for. Okay, because price was moving up, but I wanted something. I wanted a candle to come down and sweep one of these three candles right here. Okay, one of these three candles, right? 4 candles right here that were made. I really didn't want to see it sweep this one because I was already in one contract, and that would get me pretty darn close to stopping out. But if we could sweep one of these 3 candles in the middle and then start moving up, then I think we're going to be okay. And sure enough, this candle right here comes down and sweeps the low of these 2 candles and pushes back up into the body of those candles. And that's where I added a contract. I also moved my stop loss up really tight. I think I had it either right at this low or a little above it. Because I'm thinking, okay, we just swept a low in this consolidation. If this thing doesn't take off right now, I don't want to lose very much money here. Okay. And sure enough, we get this big 15-minute candle, 5-minute candle right here. Okay, it just takes off. And I'm like, Fantastic. So what I'm looking for is to get to the previous high, which is right here, which is where I took the first contract off over here, somewhere. Okay. These are all overlapping trades. Okay. And I'm just going to move the vertical crosshair so I'm not bringing up all that type of stuff. So we get this big push up, and I'm waiting to get, uh, you know, when this candle's pushing up, I don't want to just click the sell button on one contract, because that candle could keep moving. But we did end up, it started pulling back, and then it pushed back up, and I went ahead and closed one contract up here. And then it pulled back, and then it started consolidating again. Well, same thing in the consolidation, and now we have our first fair value gap. We have the consolidation, but I want to see a candle sweep the lows and then pull back up. And that's what happened on that candle right there. And right here, I added another contract. So I had one contract, then I had two contracts. Oh, no, sorry. In this consolidation, I think it was this candle right here that got me worried. And I ended up closing the trade completely right here on this candle for a small profit. Okay. Small profit on the second contract. I took the first contract up to the previous high. So I made a pretty good profit on this. Okay. I was already down 300 on the day in Asia. I took a couple of quick trades that I didn't think were working out, and I got out for small losses. So I made back the 300 that I was down on this trade. Okay. Um, but then after that, we started to push up, and then this candle came down, swept the lows, and pulled back up. That's when I realized I had gotten out of the trade too early. So I put a no shit. Do I have the executions? Hold on, because that's not right either. I didn't get out of that trade there. So let me see. Executions. Let's see if we can figure this out. Oh, damn it. Okay. This is all one trade. All right. So here we go. We enter the trade one contract. We add a contract. It takes off like we expected to. We take one contract off. Now we're sitting here waiting. This pulls back, sweeps the lows of the consolidation, and then pulls back into the bodies. I add another contract here. So now I'm back in two contracts on the trade. We push both contracts up, and as soon as I see this market structure shift, MSS notification, okay, what happens when we have displacement and then we get the pullback? We see a market structure shift. At that point, I'm expecting it to pull back. Now I'm expecting price to actually pull back. Okay, so here's what I had in the beginning. I saw the displacement, so I went ahead and put. Let's see, I think I had it from here. Yeah, I had it from the start of the push that made this break of structure right here down to the bottom. Okay. All right. So I'm looking at this fit. But we're not just going to take liquidity and then shoot straight up, right? We get our displacement, we start the pullback. Well, once I see the market structure shift, now I'm expecting another deeper pullback. So I closed both of those contracts just above the market structure shift when this candle closed. Okay, so that was two contracts there. Made back my 300 and some odd dollars that I had lost in the Asia session. All right, so now we're up to date, and that is the correct order of things. Okay, it's been a while since the trades happened, so it took me a second. All right, so now I'm expecting the deeper pullback, so I throw a fib on from the bottom to the candle, the highest candle after the market structure shift, where the pullback starts. Now I'm looking to enter at the 6-2 or the 7-0. This candle shot down and started pulling back very quickly, but I caught it right here. That's where I entered. Okay. When this candle finished pulling back, I went ahead and when it pulled back a little bit at the beginning, I added a second contract right here. Okay. And I rode both of those contracts. Now, my 2-7 was right here. This candle pushed up and stopped. It's a strong bullish candle, but after blowing my account and seeing NQ not have the follow through for the last few days, that little monster in the back of my brain says, you better get out of this trade. So I closed those two contracts up at the top of this candle. It actually hadn't made that little bitty pullback yet. I mean, it got right there, stalled, and I just clicked the button. Boom. Subconscious thought, get out of the trade, don't lose any more money. Take the profit. Now, this did end up going to the 2-7. Okay, because this isn't NQ, this is crude oil. NQ wasn't having the follow through, crude oil did. But that's okay. I didn't leave a lot on the table there. Okay, this was my 900 and change profit on the day, and I just called it a day. Almost. All right. I almost called it a day. So, um, I still watch the charts, but now you know, this is the trade that I'm looking for. This was the process that I had to go through. It came down to internal liquidity. I traded the bounce. When I saw the market structure shift, I got out of that trade, put a fib on. Pullback started. We came down to the entry. I grabbed that entry to go to the 2-7. The reason I didn't wait for this big thing, the bigger swing fib to happen, is because I was expecting it to go up here. And I wanted to trade the move up to this fib and possibly take the short, which I could have done and came back to the previous low and took more good profit. That would have been a very quick 20-minute trade, 25-minute trade straight down. I didn't take that trade, and I should have. Okay, I mean, geez, look at it. It hits the 6-2, goes to the previous weekly high, doesn't quite get to the 7-0, and pulls back. I could have easily jumped in that right there and taken it down. Okay, I could have jumped in it when it hit the 6-2. I could have jumped in it when it hit the previous weekly high. Whatever. At any point in here, I could have jumped in this trade for a short. because this is the swing fib. The swing pulled back to the fib, and on a bearish market, you got to expect that to turn around and go down, which it did. Didn't go all the way to the 2.7. It just went down to the previous low and stopped. But what I did is once we got back down here to this previous low, I put in a short, and I had a very tight stop loss, like 80 bucks, because we had a 5-minute fair value gap here. Okay, a possible 5-minute fair value gap. Okay, we had one here, we had another one here, and then we had the third one start right here. Okay, this candle opened. What is that? This candle opened right here. So we had this possible fair value gap. And I wasn't even going to give it the whole enchilada. Okay? I put my stop just barely above what would have been the halfway mark of this possible fair value gap. Because if we were going to go down to the 2.7 on the swing fib, this is where I would see it happen. It would break this low right here. It would break the body. It would break the body of this low right here, and then we would continue on down to the 2.7 from that point. Because we have, you know, let me just get all of these off now because I don't need them. Okay, because we built up sell side liquidity through here that it could have taken to go down to the 2.7. So I put a very tight stop loss. I wasn't going to give back very much profit. It was like 80 bucks was the stop loss. And it ended up stopping me out, which is fine. Because I gave myself the opportunity to go back to the swing 2.7, okay, which very well could have happened. But crude oil, right around 12 to 12:30, volume drops off greatly. It's basically the close of the market for crude. Um, as you can see, I mean, all the candles got really small. They had a little bit of volume, and this pushed down before the end of the day, but there's just not a lot of volume after 12 to 1 o'clock in crude oil. So, you know, if we were going to get that big volume push at the end of the day to go down to the 2.7, this is where I wanted to give myself that opportunity. Didn't work out. Took an $80 loss. My Top Step account is up $880. So still profitable day. Got most of my losses back from the $1,000 daily loss limit that I hit yesterday. But this is the trade that I'm looking for. This is the trade that works. And it's because CL isn't in such a strange state at all-time highs, because CL's never going to, well, I'm not going to say it's never going to be at all-time highs, but, you know, we would have to reach over $100 a barrel to be at all-time highs. I mean, the monthly chart on crude, um, $260 to $57 a barrel. Jesus, when the hell was that? 2008. Wow, that must have been some hellacious gas prices. But we're always going to have levels above and below us. I mean, seriously, negative $11 for a barrel of oil. Wow, that's some crazy shit. But you know, so we're always going to have levels, right? And that's great. NASDAQ is at a point where we're at all-time highs. And when you're at all-time highs, the market doesn't act the same way. Okay. Um, and it's just harder to trade. You know, on the daily, yes, but intraday, this thing's been all over the place. I mean, it just nothing's working. I mean, look at this big displacement. Do we get, you know, what happens when it comes down to the 7-9 or the 6-2? You know, it comes to it, pushes up a bit, and then just keeps on going. You know, uh, let's you know, we dump again. Take this high to this displacement low. Actually, let's flip that around. So now we're in a bullish, bearish market. You know, we dump. We dump to here. We just come back to the 50. We don't get the 6-2. Dump again. This one, you know, if you take it, let's just take a look. Here we go again. Another displacement to the downside. It comes back, breaks through, doesn't break the high. So if you're trading off the high, you're good. Makes an order block, but then comes back. You know, did you move your stop loss to break even somewhere? Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, you get that trade. Okay, that was the one trade that worked throughout all of New York, and even that thing drove you crazy because you enter somewhere on this candle, it almost stops you out, comes down, comes back, almost stops you out again. Yeah, damn. I mean, within ticks, if you had it on this high, within ticks of stopping you out, and then finally, you know, you're in this trade at, okay, sometimes you're in this trade at 1:05 in the afternoon, and you don't hit target profit till 3:30. I mean, and look at all this. There's nothing, you know, one candle every once in a while is giving you volume. Everything else is just wicks up and down, up and down, up and down. This trade drove me crazy. Unless I just set my orders and walked away. And uh, we're inside of that daily fair value gap, that daily inverted fair value gap. You know, yep, we took the liquidity from it and it fell right back below. Didn't actually close below, but that was a huge move. I mean, who would have? Where can you take advantage of this move anywhere? Nowhere that I can see. Maybe. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. When I have to sit there and say, well, maybe. I mean, am I really looking to take a trade on a maybe when NQ just hasn't been working out? Yeah. I mean, that would have been a perfect trade. You know, it breaks through the 7-9 a little, and then took off all the way up to the 2-7. But that's not a displacement move that I want to be putting a fib on. This is a displacement move that I want to put a fib on, but I know that, you know, we're taking liquidity from this daily fair value gap, and it shoots back down really fast. don't expect to be able to catch that move. What I do want to see is where's the pullback after the displacement from the liquidity move for me to get into a trade. Well, I mean, it never even pulled back to this fair value yet. You know, there was nothing in there to trade other than we held below VWAP, and then we just dumped below the 5-day moving average. Well, after that, we didn't get a good pullback until after this dump that we could have traded, and that's the trade that would have just drove you nuts. So that's what I'm talking about. I mean, is the market that I want to trade moving in a way that makes my trades a lot easier to take. NQ has not been doing that. I mean, look at this. Why in the world would I ever try to trade any of this? It's crazy. It's nothing but range and consolidation. Big move here. Consolidation. You don't know which way it's going. You don't know which way it's going. You don't know which way it's going. So, you know, that is definitely part of the issue that I had with blowing that account. Not paying attention to the market I'm trading. It's just NQ has not been giving me clean price action that fits my trade plan, and I just didn't see it. Moved over to crude oil today and saw it perfectly. I mean, I thought through that trade perfect from the time it hit internal liquidity to take the bounce up to a market structure shift, grabbing fib on that pullback to go up to the 2.7, and the 2.7 hitting into the swing pullback. Could have taken that short. I didn't. I waited too long, tried to take it at the bottom for the continuation all the way to the 2.7, which it didn't do because we were basically at the end of the day for crude oil. So, yeah, I know, very long video. If you guys stuck through this, fantastic. But, you know, when things like this happen to me, I need to put a video out there because we do have traders in here that are brand new to trading. Some are brand new to ICT. You know, some are just starting their journey with prop firms. You know, the whole gamut of trading journeys are in here. So I want everyone to see everything, not just the good, you know, the great P&L days, the $11,000 funded account. You know, when I screw up, and like I said, I'm 3 years into this, and I've put a lot of work in, and I feel like I'm right there. You know, the next couple of funded accounts, if not the next one, you know, that I'm trading now, I will reach a point to where that account never gets blown. I will be consistent. I will trade the markets I need to trade. I will keep the undisciplined, fearful, greedful little beast that hides in my subconscious locked away when I'm in the markets. Um, you know, all of that. I feel like it's just right there. And I think blowing this account and looking back through it all, the psychology, the trades, you know, seeing that the market wasn't moving the way I needed to move uh, because of the area it's in, you know, those all-time highs, or there's other markets that aren't in that situation that I can look at. Even moving, I mean, I looked at the euro today. Um, I haven't looked at the Russell yet, but I might. You know, the Euro's got levels. Um, it's not at all time highs, it's not at all time lows. It's got levels that can be traded. And so I definitely want to be looking at that. Um, let's see. Yeah, I think I was looking at this for a pullback. Okay, it was this one. I was in the Asian session. I was looking for it to come back and go down, and I think I got stopped out in there. I just want to take another quick look at it. If you don't, watch this part of the video, that's fine. Um, yeah, I mean, we never got the pullback in here. We finally got the pullback here. It only went down to previous low, um, and then shot up and took liquidity from the Asia high, pulled back, did this crazy thing at the New York Open, slammed back down. What does that even look like? 100 Oh, this was, yeah, look at that. Pulled right back to the next candle to the 6-2, went back down to the previous low. Never got down to the 2-7. We got a crazy ton of sell side liquidity right here. It's a quadruple low, and then just took off. But I mean, there's movement and there's volatility and there's volume in the euro during the New York session, during the London session. Hell, even during the Asian session, if it actually hits its levels right. So yeah, I mean, this is a market I'm going to start watching until NQ starts moving correctly, um, and I start seeing trade setups actually work out. I'm not going to trade NQ for a while. Market isn't what I need it to be. It's not acting like its normal self. There's no follow through. There's no big moves that I'm looking for. Where other markets do have it. Gold, I think, it's yeah. I mean, it's well below its all-time highs. So yeah, I mean, well below its all-time highs, and well above its previous swing lows. So there's plenty of movement, plenty of levels for gold to be moving around. Looks like it just finished the buy side, might go into the sell side, come back down into this area somewhere. So be watching that next week. Uh, maybe the buy side's not done until we get back up in this area. Just have to see which way it starts going. We came down, we hit our lows, we reversed. Now we're starting to move up for the last couple of days. Maybe we keep going up until we get back up here. Um, so, but gold's in a spot where it has levels above and below, unlike NASDAQ, unlike ES. I think even the Dow is back up at its all-time highs, which makes it difficult to trade. Uh, yeah, that's a heck of a move right FTX liquidity sweep was done. But it also took liquidity from the lows as well. So I don't know which direction this one is trying to trade at the moment. You know, can I see a good market maker model here? I really can't. You know, not like I can on gold. So yeah, I'll probably just stay away from YM for a little bit. And just stick with, you know, euro, gold, crude. What does the Russell look like? The Russell's basically at its, you know, back up around its all-time highs. Kind of see a market maker model starting there, back up to the buy side. Where does it finish? Up here, up here. You know, maybe. Maybe. I won't discount trading the Russell just yet, but um, I'm not gonna, it's not gonna be my first choice. So yeah, very long video. I know, guys and gals. I just wanted to kind of get on tonight. One, vent a little bit. Two, be transparent. Let everybody know uh, that I blew that $250,000 funded account. You know what I did afterwards to go back and look at why it happened and move forward. And again, just try to be a better trader tomorrow than I was today. You know, today I did good. I moved into a different market, which I should be doing. I should be looking at several markets during the day and not just be tunnel visioned on NASDAQ. Um, that's another fault of mine. You know, when you start doing really good in an asset, and I built that whole $11,000 pretty much all on NASDAQ. I think there was a couple of gold trades and maybe a couple of oil trades, and maybe one oil trade, if any. But yeah, it was mainly NASDAQ. When you start doing good in an asset in a market, you tend to stay there. You know, it's treating you well. You keep going. Um, but a lot of those trades were other types of ICT trades. Not all of them were the fib trades. And then I just blew my ass on fib trades because the market wasn't moving the way I needed to for that type of setup. So anyway, it is the weekend. I'm working, as always. But I hope everybody out there has a great weekend. I hope I know a few people in the Discord had a good week. Congratulations on your good trading days. Mine was the opposite, but you know, like I said, this is just part of the process. This isn't, you know, once you get funded, you haven't made it. You know, it's you're not there yet. Um, Eventually, there will be a funded account where you do get there. Um, you know, somebody else in the Discord might get there before I do. Uh, I may already be there. I don't know. But yeah, it's just part of the process. And this is why I tell everybody, especially the new people, don't expect this. Don't expect to get in here, learn ICT strategies, and build a trade plan, and then just expect, it to be all uphill from there. It's not. It's not gonna be. It never is. I don't know. I haven't seen a single story out there yet of somebody who just jumped into trading, learned a strategy, and just started making money and quit their job and never had the pitfalls of a new trader for the first couple of years. So I'm still in good spirits. It didn't take me very long to get over it because, like I said, in my mind, I only lost $100. But that's the way I have to look at it because that's why I use prop firms. I know that I'm not at that point yet because I haven't proven that I can consistently make money once I'm funded to keep an account open for a long time. But I think I'm almost there. Almost there. I can see it. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's right there. All I gotta do is take a couple steps further. Um, so yeah, I'm super excited for the next couple weeks, couple months, um, because now I know I have the thought process down. When I went in this morning to CL and I thought all the way through the flush down into internal liquidity, saw the bounce, saw the market structure shift, got out of that trade, waited for the fib pullback, got into that trade long up to the 2.7, into the swing fib, knowing I should have taken that trade, but didn't, because honestly, once you blow an account like that, that you have some cash in, um, it's good for your psyche to just, get some wins under your belt. Don't need to catch every good trade out there. Um, just just get some wins under your belt. Start trading the plan, thinking through the day. And I think that, I think a lot of that was my biggest problem. I was just watching price action, and every time I saw a pullback, you know, could I find a place to stick a fib where that pullback hits the 6.2 and trade it? And that doesn't work. It's not the way you know this ICT concept is to be traded. You can't just trade every pullback. Find a place to stick a fib where every pullback hits the 6.2 and try to trade it. It doesn't work like that. So super excited for the short-term future. Uh, Now that I think one more gear is clicked in my brain, we've made one more step forward. People could see it as a step backwards when you lose $11,000 in a funded account and blow the account. For me, this is a step forward. Uh, it was another little lesson that clicked in my brain, and there's not. I'll always be learning, and there's always things to learn in trading. But you do reach a point where enough of those gears have clicked over, and you've learned the lesson that now you have enough momentum forward that it keeps building into profitability through the long term. And I think I'm so close, if not there, with what I've realized over the last couple of days, and proven to myself today with the trade I took at CL, um, that I do have the process, I do have the trading plan that works. I have to be cognizant of the market I'm in, and is that market moving like I need it to move to make my money, or do I need to go to another market? I need to start watching more markets, obviously. Um, I need to be waiting for that particular move. Time based liquidity getting swept, getting the displacement into internal liquidity, taking the bounce off that until we get that market structure shift or break of structure, and then pull a fib for that pullback up to the 2.7. If that's a swing fib that it moves up to into the 2.7, then grab that swing fib and take it back down. Because your swing fibs, so, you know, uh, you if you did every break of structure, you'd have very small swings. So, like, even this, I would say, here's a major break of structure here. So I would call this my swing low, and I would want to put a fib on that swing, just to watch it over the next few days and see what happens. Oh, lo and behold, looky there. Um, it may take a couple days to get there, but it didn't. I mean, this was today's price action. It hit the 7.9, pulled back hard. If you got in at the 6.2 or the 7.0, you didn't get stopped out, and you came back up. Now we haven't gotten close to the 2.7 yet, but we ran out of time. Um, but you did get back to. Uh, let's see, where was the 4 o'clock candle? 4 o'clock candle's right there. You almost got back. I mean, you got back to this previous high. That would have been a good trade. Close it there towards the end of the day. So at the moment, the Russell looks like it's moving. Um, Looks like it's broken out of all this bullshit over here. It might actually be moving again. So they take a look at the Russell, um, and see what happens. But anyway, okay, enough rambling. This was an extremely long video at 1 hour and 13 minutes. Uh, I hope that everybody gains a little bit of something from it. If you watch the whole thing, thank you very much for putting up with my ramblings. But I'm going to call it a night until I do my weekly prep for next week. I will try to get that recorded and up, um, and looking forward to a strong beginning of a new quarter in the markets come next week. So, have a great weekend, everybody. Don't ever give up. Um, you know, just when you think you're there, the markets, and it's not the markets, it's that little freaking beast that lives back there in your subconscious, is going to trip you up. Uh, but, you know, just figure out what he did to you, lock that in the cage, don't let it back out, and keep moving forward. And we will all, if you put in the work and you do what needs to be done and you just keep pushing forward, we'll all get to where we want to be. So, again, have a great weekend. I know we're getting close to the 4th of July, aren't we? That's next week. So, we're going to have a short week next week in trading. Um, be interesting to see. There might not be a lot of action, or maybe we'll get all the action at the beginning of the week and it'll die off. But 4th of July week is usually a big vacation week, so probably looking for some lighter price action, not looking for full trade target profits. Probably lessen the expectations on the moves. Um, so yeah. All right. Until next week, or until I get the weekly prep video out. Um, have fun. Enjoy your weekend. Spend time on doing. Spend at least a little time doing what you love to do. Time with family, outdoors, whatever that may be. Spend a little time doing what you love to do. I have a couple of things that I love laying back there at the moment. So I will be spending a little bit of time with them this weekend when I get the opportunity. I am headed to bed because it is going to be an early morning to get up and run tomorrow. So take care, everybody.